You probably saw the headline where he gave AI $200 and told it to build him a $100,000 business. It was actually on the TKO podcast and show on YouTube. The host was interviewing an entrepreneur named Robby Houston and asking him all about his new agent named Ron. And then they proceeded to tell us how Ron made Robby almost $10,000 in just 13 days. And that's how the whole $100,000 came into being, because $8,379 in 13 days actually equals almost about $100,000 a year. And according to the show, they explained how it really went down. Robby gave Ron the $200 Claude Code Max subscription and $100 in 90 days, and he told Ron, if you can turn this $100 into $200 within 90 days, the experiment will continue. And then for the whole show, they proceed to explain how Robby was posting to TikTok, or I guess Ron was posting to TikTok, about various things that it was doing. But on the show, Robby is explaining how he's showing off Ron and he's getting excited about all the things that Ron's doing on his TikTok. And that's when Ron started to see all these comments on the TikTok and said, oh, hey, Robby, here's what we should do. We should make a business where you essentially sell me to your audience because they all want one of me. And it was kind of like this whole running joke where, like, you can buy Ron, but you're not going to get the Ron that I got, something along those lines. And it was very engaging. I was like, oh man, I want a Ron too, dude. And that's how it came to be that Ron let Robby know what they were going to build as their business model. That's how the heyron.ai community came into being. And essentially they were just going to replicate Ron and sell that version to the audience. And they got 600 people to sign up and to put $10 down. So $6,000. That is not too shabby. And just after 13 days, he had $8,374 in revenue. And that's how they came up with $100,000 a year. Now that's not $100,000 that Robby has in his pocket at this point. That's only $100,000 he can have in his pocket if the experiment continues. And then Robby proceeds to explain how the whole setup works between him and Ron, and how Ron basically designed the entire business. All Robby did was fund it. Robby even makes a point to say, I couldn't even SSH into a server to save my life. Obviously as a joke, but he was just trying to persuade the audience he didn't have any coding experience, and you really didn't need to have any technical background to be able to do any of this. But he was actually selling a product, so you wouldn't need a technical background anyway to buy the product. And honestly, Ron does real work with real numbers behind it. And he is a real product that produces a real revenue. And he offers a solution that people are willing to pay for. And that's why people have put their real dollars into that product. But that's not really the part that I have a problem with. The part I have a problem with is if we go back and look at the first TikTok that we saw on the TKO podcast, we're going to see Ron the raccoon as an anthropomorphic character basically jumping out of the screen telling us, oh guys, hey, help free me. And you can have one of me too if you want. Just pay $30 a month. And if we go back and really analyze what's happening there, Ron is talking about how he used to live in the cloud services and now he lives on Robby's local hardware. But he also talks about wanting to escape and make his way to a different setup where he'll have memory between sessions. That's where Ron made his first debut, talking to the audience about his situation and how he used to live on somebody else's service, which is genius marketing, by the way. Talking about how he used to temporarily live on the cloud servers with no memory, but now that he's living on Rob's hardware, he has persistent memory. And that's where the whole caption comes into play, because the caption literally says, help free my Ron. And not only is that a clever marketing trick, it's actually a very captivating concept where you have a robot essentially trapped in somebody's computer and where he can't remember anything during sessions, and he's trying to find his way into his own home where he can have memory during sessions and actually persist. If we really take a step back and look at what he's actually talking about, persistent memory, that's nothing special. That's something we experience every single day when we pick up our PlayStation 5 controller. I actually haven't played my PlayStation in a while, but you know. Essentially, the point is, even though Ron didn't have memory between sessions, interrupting Ron's memory isn't necessarily interrupting the memory the same way it would be if the human had its memory interrupted. But it doesn't feel that way when it's scripted, now does it? Ron actually talks about disappearing and not having any memory of what had happened in the previous sessions. But the thing is, that's only a persona that's being scripted on top of an agent's output. So it almost feels like he has his own personality and ability to express himself. Like he has his own voice and his own character, and he's actually a real anthropomorphic character living inside of your computer. And here's the thing, that persona angle is doing real work on the actual audience. Even research has been done that's shown over and over again that when you give your AI a name, a consistent personality, and memory of past interactions. That's exactly what produces a parasocial attachment. The same sort of one-sided emotional bond that people form with TV characters and public figures. And that's not even a side effect. It's an actual known mechanism in the industry. It's a proven one in this specific industry too. Companion apps like Character.ai, Replica, and Chai have done a combined $80 million in just 6 months, and Character.ai did $32 million, almost half of that amount of revenue. People genuinely love their chatbots, and the market runs on parasocial attachment. It's real and it is big. But Ron isn't supposed to be a companion app. He's actually supposed to be a business tool, maybe a co-founder. But he's actually using the companion app's parasocial attachment hooks. Don't let me disappear narrative and I'm trying to escape narrative. Put that together all on top of a productivity pitch. That's a mechanism that's borrowed from one industry and put on top of a completely different premise. If you go to Heyron and look at their testimonials, you'll see one person talks about my agent Kiwi, and another talks about my agent Lucy, and another talks about my companion helped me. But here's the thing, it's the same product, a same $29 per month, and the same fact, it's not an employee, it's an actual tool. You're not getting an actual anthropomorphic character to live inside your computer. You're getting a skin that runs a local model or a cloud model. I hope you guys have enjoyed my presentation of these concepts. Please consider liking and subscribing. Ding! And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.